But yeah, what'd you go? How low did you get?
I think the lowest my fats were maybe like 45.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be fucking rough.
Yeah, it was.
Did your shit stop working?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how many weeks out was that just a no-go?
Like, it still works. You know what I mean? Like,
It doesn't work as well?
you just don't think about it. You're so focused on training and when your next meal is, what you're doing for cardio, how much posing you've got to do. Or you're so focused on the prep and everything involved in the prep, you don't even think about sex. You don't think about anything outside of prep and what prep entails.
So your missus is like, babe, and then you're just like,
she hated it.
I've got to go and pose.
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's like
I love that.
Just wait till after the show. Just wait.
How long does it take to bounce back? Like after the show, like at what point do you start feeling a bit better? And
I think it depends person to person. Like I've heard some people say like they can just go eat a fucking cheesecake and they'll feel fine half an hour later. But in terms of like the mental aspect of it where you feel like a human again and like you have a personality, that took probably about a week for me. And that was with eating, you know, like I wasn't restricting myself after the show. I went out for dinner, we went out for lunches, went out for breakfast, had plenty of meals off because I was still in Brisbane. So just had like a normal person holiday, you know, like just ate kind of whatever. And we just made sure we got our protein in and got plenty of steps in throughout the day. But yeah, it took about a week for me to feel mentally normal. Like, yeah, like I said, like I had a personality again. I had a sense of humor. And like you actually want to be involved in things rather than just like a recluse and reserved from everyone else. But yeah, for me, it was about a week for sure.
yeah, it seems like it's not what people always say, man. Like it's selfish, right? Like bodybuilding is
Massively.
yeah, can't really do it without that.
Yeah.
And so like that's the problem. I find it's like even when I've gone through dieting periods and never added to an extent that a bodybuilder has, you do just get to a point where I'm just like, man, like I just cannot be fucked talking to anyone, and I don't want to see people, and like it doesn't matter if people are family or anything. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never got to that level, obviously, like, but it's still enough sometimes. Like I dieted pretty heavily for like 16 week once, and maybe lost like maybe 10 kilos, maybe a bit more, maybe more like 13, 14. And like towards the end of that was like started to get that way. And I was like, oh man, I can only imagine like if I was to push this to like a prep area.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever want to get under 15% body fat from like a personal level, because I just feel like that's kind of the turning point.
For sure. Like you start going down the rabbit hole of, especially if you don't have a show planned or anything like that, like eating disorders for sure is a massive thing, like people binging and all that. And not only that, it's just your quality of life suffers big time because you're so focused on one thing. You don't care about anything else. Yeah, it's everyone else around you, their life suffers too because you're not the same person you were when you were 15% body fat, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you change completely. Like, not only just from dropping the body fat and everything like that, but especially with bodybuilding, that the drugs that are involved, the changes definitely your mental for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the, you've always been like super transparent. And I like it because like, fuck, I speak to so many people that aren't. And it's like, you've got to be nice. I know it's weird. You've got to be all like, it's their choice and stuff. And like, it is people's choice whether they want to be open about it and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're like a popular person who's all over social media and stuff like that, and you do this with your body and stuff like that, I don't think it's that weird to ask questions. I feel like some people think it's weird to even ask. And I'm like, nah, like I'm curious. I want to know what drugs you're running. Like I want to know.
Yeah.
And when we talked last time, you went into it a bit, but we spoke the other day and you were saying that you've sort of, obviously you would have learned a bit since then, smartened up a little bit, not taking as much as you need to, or as much as you used to maybe.
Yeah, it was pretty similar to the first prep. Like, I feel like in terms of prepping for a show, everyone's kind of using the same 3 to 4 compounds. Like, it's never really going to change. And obviously during that time, I've been coached by the same person. And we pretty much just did the same as what we did in the first prep. And that was just test, primo, and then towards the end of the prep, added in a little bit of trend. And I mean a little bit, like not anywhere near what people think people should be taking. And then it was obviously just the normal fat burners that are in place in prep, like Clen and T3 and T4. I did use a little bit of Yohembine, which is just another fat burner, but just not as extreme. And then as for orals throughout the prep, it was Anavar and Winstrol towards the very end of prep. And then Proviron, just a little bit sprinkled in throughout not the entire prep, but most of it.
What's that? What's Proviron?
Proviron is another oral as well. Just kind of helps with general well-being of feeling good, and also helps with fertility. Just make sure you keeps fertility going a little bit. Yeah, I'm not a complete scientist when it comes to some compounds. Most of them I have a good understanding of, but the ones like Proviron and that are more off, they're not like mainstream. They're not used a lot. I haven't delved into that one as much.
So when you said Winstrol, I remember seeing someone once, like, I think it must have been like a bodybuilding forum or something, and they were saying that when they were on Winstrol, it made their joints feel like glass.
Yeah, it definitely can. I didn't get that. I didn't run a very high amount. But yeah, a lot of people do say that the joints get really dry and their training suffers dramatically because of Winstrol. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's in fact. I personally haven't experienced it, but
you're just like, I'm a genetic anomaly and I don't really get side effects. So
no, I definitely do. But
what kind of sides do you get? Oh, I don't know how deep you want to delve into it, but
the main side effect that I've definitely dealt with is like hair loss and like thinning, and it's a shitty side effect.
Is that why you're wearing a hat inside?
That is why I'm wearing a hat inside.
I call it the Bradley Martin maneuver.
Yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Dude, here's the thing, right? It's like if someone was like, hey, look, man, you're going to have to pretty much give up like 5% of you so that the other 95% is all good.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's actually not that bad.
It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah. Well, were you receding like before you jumped on though?
Yeah, I was. I started receding super young, like 18. I buzzed my head and I realized that my hairline was receding a bit. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I jumped on cycle like a year later, and it was definitely not going to get any better. I tried a couple like hair loss intervention kind of things, like finasteride and minoxidil and all that kind of like dermapen stuff. I tried it for a little bit. It definitely does work, but it's just such a pain in the fucking ass to continuously do every single day. So you
just lent into it.
Trip to Turkey in a couple of years, I reckon, and get a transplant. Oh
yeah, I've seen that shit. Yeah, it's like hell. There's heaps to it, eh?
Oh man, they are so good at it, and it's like $5,000 all included for a new head of hair.
You reckon it's the same though?
They take your own hair from the side of your head and implant it on top of your head.
There has to be downsides though, right?
You tell me.
Well, you tell me.
The recovery process looks pretty brutal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, your head swells up like a balloon and looks pretty fucked for like a good month.
Do you know anyone that's had it?
Not personally, no. But I've just seen like YouTube videos and
it looks like their hair looks good as new.
Oh yeah, once it comes in fully, like 6 months to 9 months, I think that's when it's like you're pretty much good. It looks completely normal.
So why would you ever be worried? Why am I not blasting gear right now?
You tell me.
I don't need to because I've got growth cookies, man. They'll get me where I need to go.
That's right.
No, fuck, man. That's pretty cool though that they're at least able to help with that side effect because obviously it's like the main one.
Oh yeah, a big time, and so many people are insecure about it. Like, fuck, I'm wearing a hat. Like, obviously everybody who goes through it is a little bit insecure about it at some point, and I definitely am as well. But you know, you did it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
your ball small?
Oh, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's going to cop that one for
noticeable difference?
For sure. for sure.
But it would have happened ages ago, right? Because like when you first jumped on,
it probably wasn't even after my first cycle. Maybe like my second cycle where I actually noticed it.
one day we just like, hey, whoa,
Yeah, kind of, because I don't like
inspect it.
I don't grab my balls every day.
Yeah.
But when I did, I realized that they were smaller for sure.
And does it get worse, or do they just get smaller and stay small?
Yeah, they definitely atrophy more over time.
Yep.
But you can revolumize them.
Revolumize?
Yeah, you can get your balls back, get them kicking going.
You go to Turkey for that as well?
No, you can do that just with some other supplements.
The plunger, just
get them going again.
Well, because I remember hearing this, and then I didn't know that was more to it, but that it was. We're going to go straight into it here, and it's going to be disgusting, and I'm fine with it. But someone was telling me that like, because your shit gets all watery, eh? They were saying that like when you fucking ejaculate, it goes real watery.
I've been sweet.
You've been sweet. Yeah. I heard that from someone. He reckons it was like too watery, like real too, like, you know, when something's like thinner than water.
Yeah, it's probably a issue.
You reckon?
Probably
like a sterile issue. You think? Like
most
because if it's that's surely that's not a sign of swimmers, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign
of anything.
Yeah, okay. He said it was like a thing that happened apparently, but you've had a lot in your body, and if it's not happening to you, maybe you need to get your shit checked, bro. If you're, I'm not going to shout you out. It's
always worth getting shit checked out.
If you're listening to this, man, you remember the conversation we had that time, and you were telling me about this. Get it checked out, because that doesn't. Jake's saying it's not right. And I've been sitting there, I've been walking around telling people, you know, when you jump on, your shit gets real watery, because you told me that. And now it's not true.
That being said, I haven't asked anybody else how their loads are looking.
What do you mean? Doesn't come up in conversation, bro?
Not normally.